You've heard this story before. A box, a restaurant, a rule about good service. The story sounds true. It is not true. And the real story is stranger than you think. Welcome back to Hidden Word Power. Today we look at a word you probably use every week. You pay it at a restaurant, you pay it for a haircut, you barely think about it. But the story behind this word hides something bigger. Here's the version almost everyone knows. Old English coffee houses had a box near the door. The box had letters on it, TIPS. Those letters stood for to ensure prompt service. You dropped a coin in the box. In return, you got faster service. It's a good story. It's simple, it makes sense. There's just one problem. It's not true. Let's start with the logic. You tip after a meal. Insurance works before something happens. You can't insure a service that's already finished, so something doesn't add up. Here's the bigger problem. An acronym is a word made from the first letters of other words like TIPS. Standing for a whole sentence. Words made this way are a modern habit. They barely existed before the 1900s. But tip is much older than that. So where does it really come from? The trail leads to 17th century England, not to coffee houses, to criminals. Tip was slang. Thieves and hustlers used it. It meant to give or to hand something over, often quietly, often in secret. You could tip a coin, you could tip a warning, you could tip someone off about a horse race. The first time we see tip written down to mean a small payment for good service is in 1706 in a play. A character says he tips a small coin to a church worker. No box, no acronym, just an old word for handing something over quietly. So where did the box story come from? We can trace that too. In 1909, a British writer named Frederick Hackworth published a book about Old English inns. In it, he repeated the acronym story as folklore. Critics noticed right away. One review published that same year called it a careless retelling of a popular myth. But the story didn't die. It got better. It got repeated, and eventually most people forget it was ever questioned. But this kind of story has a name. It's called a backronym. That simply means someone invents letter by letter meaning for word after the word already exists just to explain it. A neat explanation, invented later, believed forever. So here's a real question. Why do people invent tidy stories for messy old words? One possible answer, tidy stories feel satisfying. A rule about prompt service sounds fair. It sounds like something everyone agreed to. The real word origin is messier. It comes from secret slang, from people trying to hide what they were saying. And there's something else worth knowing. The tipping practice itself has a history that isn't tidy either. Tipping in America was once controversial. In the early 1900s, several states tried to ban it by law. Critics called it unfair, some even called it un-American. Historians still debate exactly why tipping took hold the way it did in the United States. The full picture is complicated and not every detail is settled. But one thing is clear. Tipping was never simple. It was argued about, resisted, and eventually normalized. A neat acronym about prompt service covers all of that up. It turns a debate, complicated habit into something that sounds fair and official. That's the real pattern here. When an explanation sounds too clean, it's often hiding something more complicated underneath. So here's how you can use this. Next time you hear a word explained through a neat acronym, pause for a second. Ask yourself, does this sound too convenient? Was this word around before acronyms were common? Most Old English words were not born as acronyms. If a story sounds like a moral lesson wrapped in a word, be a little suspicious. This one habit will help you spot fake word origins for the rest of your life. Tip isn't about ensuring anything. It's an old word for quietly giving something away. It was born in secrecy, not in a coffee house box. And the story we tell about it says more about us than about the word itself. We like explanations that sound fair and orderly, even when the truth is messier. Language doesn't just describe the world. Sometimes it tidies it up for us. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. To see how words secretly control your life, subscribe to Hidden Word Power right now. Thank you for watching. Your words have power. Learn how to use them. I see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.